You might be wondering what whiteheads are and how you can get rid of them. And it can be a little tricky because sometimes they get mixed up with maybe other things you might see on the skin. And whiteheads themselves are, well, they look like little white marks on the skin, and they stick out a little bit on the skin as well. So when you run like your hand across it or you see it, you might see some textural changes, and then you'll see like a little tiny white bump. Now, what makes whiteheads more distinctive is that they are closed, so they pretty much cover up a pore. So where you see the pore in your skin, a whitehead, if it's there, is going to be right over the top of it, and it kind of creates like a coating or a dome like right over the pore itself. So what's happening is it kind of creates like a little hat or like a little lock on the top of the pore. So what does that mean? That whatever inside your pore has nowhere to go, so it's going to get stuck underneath. So if we use our imagination and we think about what's inside the pore, well, we have our oil gland that's super close there. It's also in the epidermal area, so that means that there's going to be some skin renewal happening, so we can get some more blockage. So what happens there is if it's covered up for too long, underneath can get some buildup, and then if you ever decide to give it a little squeeze, which you know you should be doing, you might get a secretion out of it. So we might have some white coming out underneath because we've exposed, we've broken through the whitehead seal, and whatever was underneath is now coming to the surface. So on the note of doing your own extraction, please, under my advice, if you do have multiple of them and you are seeing that happen, make an appointment with your esthetician or skincare specialist, and they will be able to do the extraction or direct you on how to get rid of them in a very good way so they're not left with any marcations afterwards. So there are some things that you can do at home in your routine with certain types of products that you can incorporate if this tends to be something that is more on trend for yourself, or just nice to know if you have some of these products at home. If they do pop up now and then, you know you're going to have a solution on hand. So before I start with the products that I do recommend, don't forget to hit subscribe, like our channel, and of course hit that notification bell so you don't miss another one of these episodes. As promised, now let's go through the products that I recommend. So I'm going to talk about categories of products and also some specific products themselves. When we're talking about the steps or the categories of products you want to look for, exfoliating products are going to be very valuable and important to you. We want to keep the skin well hydrated. That also helps minimize the buildup opportunity on the top of the skin, so keeping that flex and that water availability there. And you may want to manage oil as well, so that oil can also contribute to that additional buildup. So thinking about all of those things, plus our environment, of course. If you are really in a dry environment, the odds are going to be a little bit higher that hydration is not going to stick around so much, so you have more of an opportunity for a buildup to occur. And when you're also selecting your products, you want to avoid products that might be what they call comedogenic. And what that means is that these ingredients or certain types of products will kind of get stuck and stick inside, and then causing that dome of a whitehead overall. So your skin might feel quite congested or it looks a little full. That's a really good sign that the products that you're possibly using could be comedogenic. So you want to be always looking for really good products and ingredients that are going to be non-comedogenic. And how do you determine that? Avoid things like silicone, petroleum jellies, anything that's going to be super occlusive, that's like holding on and not allowing anything to absorb. This could also be a problem. So that's just some things to consider when you're selecting your products. So the ones I'm going to share with you now, non-comedogenic, so we're going to be in good shape, and all are going to help if you are dealing with whiteheads. One thing about cleansers, you can get dual action cleansers, and having one that exfoliates and cleanses is a really great way to go, especially when you're dealing with whiteheads. And another good thing is that, well, you also want to look for pore minimizing effects. So our Mangosteen Daily Resurfacing Cleanser is a top-notch pick, especially if you are dealing with the concerns of having whiteheads and you might be a little bit more on that oily combo end. But not to worry, if you sit from combination to dry and you just need to have a product on hand that you can incorporate in your routine, if you tend to be more whitehead prone, grab onto this one. And exfoliation is a really good way to handle that concern, right? So another option is that if you don't want to use a multi-purpose cleanser that does cleansing and exfoliating, you can add your own exfoliation. And using a physical exfoliant is a really effective way to do so. So the strawberry rhubarb Dermafoliant is a powder, and it uses key granules to put inside. It's just like a straight up powder, and you would just take 2 to 3 shakes of the powder into the palm of your hand, and you can mix it into your favorite cleanser or just with water and it'll be perfectly fine. You're looking to find a paste, apply it on the areas of concern, do a little circular motion, and then rinse it off and move on to the rest of your skincare routine. So a couple of other things to consider in your routine is keeping the hydration level really well in the skin, right? Because you want to, try to avoid having that little dome over your pore. Is using a topical hydrator as well as a serum can work for you. So in this case, I've grabbed our strawberry rhubarb hyaluronic serum as well as the strawberry hydrator. The reason why I brought the 2 strawberries here is because they're very, very hydrating. They're like water magnets, and this really keeps the flexibility of the skin intact and really helps keep that surface area nice and smooth, and also giving you pore minimizing, clarity, softness, and really helping keep that dead skin rolling off as it should be in its proper turnover. So to learn a little bit more, I really encourage you to swing on over and catch our video on acne face mapping to learn a few more things around how to identify certain issues that may be going on in your skin. So with that said, I'll catch you all next time. Bye-bye for now.